Yo everybody, we are back here again today for another exciting video. Back here in, our expansion team kind of franchise mode. So last episode we finished the end of what I believe is our third regular season so far here in this specific franchise. And as you can see here at the kind of at the play next game section, we finished with a very, very good record of 51, 21, and 10. It seems we have finally built the most beautiful team we could build. And I'm definitely pretty excited about that. We came second, technically tied for points in the entire league, but the Penguins, I believe, were the ones that they had more regulation wins. So they ended up taking the President's Trophy, and we didn't because we had more, shootout wins and overtime wins. So, but still, I'm definitely going to take that. And we're starting our playoff run here against the Edmonton Oilers. I don't know. I mean, I think we have a great team. Oh, wow, we actually lose our first game. Well, I guess I shouldn't speak too soon then. But I think we have a great team. I don't know if we have a great playoff team. We clearly have a great kind of regular season lineup. I think the big worry going into this is Bergeron. I think he's a big worry going into the playoffs here for sure. Just due to the fact that we don't really know how he's going to be performing. Obviously, Sergachev gets a big goal here, and Bergeron, the man we are speaking about, gets quite a big goal there to make it 4-2. And Perron gets one, so we are stacking on the goals here in this third period. Don't want to go down. Oh my god, Perron gets 2. Perron has been like this weird kind of phenom for us where he's just been out of nowhere. Like, I believe it was not this past regular season, but the season before that where we kind of had a really awful season. Perron was like our star player for some reason, and that is why we ended up re-signing him. Then here, as you see, was that a hat trick for Perron? I don't think so, right? No. It's not a hat trick for Perron, but still 2 very important goals there at the end of the third period. So Perron's been a very interesting... We've had some very interesting kind of superstars for us. Obviously, Bergeron, I think, is really the first player that we've had that is kind of an understandable superstar, and obviously he's the one that's performed the best for us as well. But we've had like Kadri, who's been our top point leader, and then we had obviously Strome, who was our top point leader, Ryan Strome, I believe, which was kind of an interesting one. And is it Ryan Strome, or do we have Dylan? I can't remember which Strome we have. And then we have Perron. Like, we've had some very, very weird and interesting kind of point leaders so far in this series, which has been something quite interesting to me. Nobody scores here in the first period. The shots are 12-4 though. 21-13, and still nobody with a single goal. The Edmonton goalie is playing absolutely lights out here. And Gauthier gets one on Markstrom. Are we really going to give it up like this, boys? We're really going to give up the game like this. Our power play is god-awful. We're going to have to maybe take a look at that at the start of next season. Or maybe even now, if need be, if I keep noticing that that's happening. We do not get any power play goals, I don't find. We lose by 1 goal there to go down 2-1 in this series against Edmonton. I really don't want to lose in the first round against Edmonton after the series we just had. Obviously, we avoid the President's Trophy curse. I'm hoping we actually do avoid it, but it's not looking like that's going to be the case, and we are going to overtime here thanks to Arvidsson, so we'll definitely slow sim this overtime here. I mean, the shots in this game are quite close, and we actually do end up taking it. Our boy Perron. Perron is looking to be the playoff MVP here. Dylan Strome, so we do have Dylan Strome. Dylan is having an awful performance as of right now. I'm not all that impressed. He was our performer in, I believe, the last playoffs or the playoffs before that. Oh my god, Athanasiou scores early on, and so does McDavid. Athanasiou gets another one, and Simon and Holtz gets one on Greiss there at the very end of the period. But again, I mean, too much to claw back from there. And we are now in a 3-2 situation. The Burnaby Brush are looking at a first-round exit for the first time. Oh, and And we get a first round exit after the stellar season that we just had. We get a first round exit in the playoffs. Perron, for some reason, yet again, just firing on all cylinders here. 8 points in 6 games. An absolute beautiful performance by him. Only saw Bergeron get maybe 1 point. I didn't see his assists or anything, but poor Bergeron. I assume he may be retiring at the end of this year. I believe he went from an 88 to an 86. And New York Rangers actually win the Cup. Who won the Cup last year? Florida, I think, right? I can't even remember now. So Minnesota wins the lottery there. Goes from 3rd place to 1st. So GG for Minnesota. And let's see if so Marleau, Williams, Stastny, Steen, Filppula, Dubinsky, Nielsen, Goligoski, Edler, Anisimov, Brouwer, Hansel, Johnson, Hagelin, Grabner, Clutterbuck, Sekera, Richardson, Abdelkader, Lewis, Komarov. Quite a few interesting names there. One half of the Stahl brothers is also gone. I think Eric's still vibing. Obviously, we wouldn't really know because we traded him off pretty quick, I will admit. And we are now here at what I believe is the 2023 entry draft. And now I don't think we have too many great picks going in. I mean, we do looks like we do pick here in the very first round. Round 1, pick number 27. Our scout is telling us to take Oles, which I guess we'll listen to our scout and take them. Only a top 9 forward, but we will definitely take it. Now we don't pick again until 155th, and this is a situation that I put us in by getting rid of so many draft picks. Is that we're kind of in a hurting scene when it comes to our picks right now, and if we don't turn our efforts into a cup run soon, we could be in a very, very bad way, especially in the future, like once we hit 2026, 2027, where I was giving away picks kind of crazy willy-nilly. It could have a pretty dangerous effect on our performance and on our team in the future. I'm hoping it doesn't. I think we have a decent rookie in I can never remember his name. I don't want this pick. Keep trading for a pick. The rookie that we just had that scored, I can never remember his name, but and we don't have another pick in the draft. We got 3 picks in that draft. Oof. And none of them were anything good. Even our first round pick was absolutely abysmal. So now we are heading into the re-sign phase. We're actually zooming through our kind of our video quite quick. We're already at the re-sign phase, which is kind of a shock. It's been quick. We've got $25 million in cap. I'm not signing Bergeron again. We've pretty much already decided on that. I would like to sign Perron again, though. 3.375 for a year. I'll actually give him that. I will definitely give him that. Fisher wants 3.5. I don't really know if he did great for us. Gurionov, I would like to still give a contract to, even though he's not doing that well. Mahura as well. I'm just going to give a contract to the majority of these guys, just due to the fact that we're not really hurting for cap right now. Carter, I'm definitely going to release. Jasper Bratt, though, I would definitely like to keep. Let's see if he'll stay with us for another year. Hino Straza. We'll probably release Hino Straza as well, and this Smith guy needs a contract, which we will. Smith, I love how Smith always goes for 1 year. It's like my guy never wants anything more than a 1 year. And it's Saros' year. Saros and the Skinner guy, it's their year too. So I'll give Saros what he wants. I'm going to give everybody pretty much exactly what they want just to start off. And then we'll kind of go from there. He's a medium backup, Bannister. I think I'll sign him and kind of see where he ends up for us. So we'll see, who wants to sign and who doesn't, and then we'll kind of go from there. Heinen renews, Gurionov renews, Saros does not. Bratt renews, Fisher renews, Perron renews, Skinner renews, Smith renews, Mahura renews. The goalie that we wanted to sign also renews, so I believe Brat may have been the only. Brat's kind of being a brat, and he's the only one that didn't. The only one that didn't feel like renewing. Is that correct? Or did everybody renew? Are we good? Oh, it was Saros that didn't renew. My boy Yusi. So he wants a little bit more money than that. I'm perfectly okay with giving him more than that. I want him at 1.45. Again, he's the only guy we have to sign this year, and we still have about 12 million in cap. And I don't think Saros has been particularly underperforming, so I'm definitely okay with that signing. So now, before we go into free agency, let's make sure we have everything we need going in here. So we have Strome, Kadri, Yarncroc, and Heinen here, who can kind of be, we're probably going to be our starting four centermen. And for left wingers, we have a nice starting four left wing kind of scenario here. A couple older guys, which we want to pay attention to. We only have Perron for another year. And same with, well, Kadri we have locked in for a little bit longer, but I think he'll probably be okay where he's at, to be honest. And for right wingers, we have quite a nice set of right wingers. I'm really glad that Holtz is performing well. Our medium elite prospect. I always want to call him. Why do I want to call him Nolan North? Where do I know that he's a voice actor in games or something, isn't he? I don't even know why I always go to Nolan North as his name, but I don't even know why. Alexander Holtz. Maybe I'll remember that eventually. But my guy, obviously, he's not a point per game player yet. He's still listed as a second line forward, which is probably where I'll put him, depending on what kind of player we can get in the free agency. But I mean, our right and left wing prospects are looking decent. I think our contracts are looking interesting as well. Like a lot of our older guys that we're not going to want anymore, we are getting rid of in about a year or two. Kadri's the only one that I'm a little worried about. But guys like Perron and that, they only want 1 year. So Sergachev is a 90 overall. We have a 90 overall that we're getting $5 million out of for another like 3 or 4 years here. So that's a very, very good thing for us. Barry, we're probably going to want to give a re-sign, but right now we have, a very good looking set of lines here. Honestly, I can't see a place that we're really lacking other than maybe the center area. And I can't even say that. I guess left wingers. We seem to always have an issue with left wingers. So I guess kind of in terms of that, I guess we'll just have to kind of keep an eye on that. Let's see. Let's actually hire some scouts this year. I don't even really know. Let's just offer some contracts to these scouts that we have already. I don't know what good numbers for scouts are, to be honest. I really don't. And I don't really care that much about the scouting in general. Like, although I do want to know. Like, I am awful at scouting, so if you guys in the comments could leave me kind of. I've recorded quite a few episodes ahead, but if you guys in the comments could most definitely kind of let me know perhaps why it is that we seem to not ever have any know-how when it comes to the draft. That would be helpful. I'm not sure if it's the way I'm scouting, like me doing the entire year. Is that making it mess up a little bit? Is the scouting just glitchy, or is it actually me that's doing something wrong? So I'm actually not going to look at the pending free agency yet. I kind of want to surprise myself, but let me, like I usually do, just go over here and kind of double, triple, quadruple check that we have signed everybody that we would like to sign. I don't really care to sign some of our, like, Baudouin, Oles, Canonica, like these guys. I don't really care to sign a lot of them. Although they will be good trade fodder, but we can trade them even if they're unsigned to us, so excuse me, I'm not too stressed about that. And I'm thinking that we advance a day. Making sure that everybody accepts kind of our contract renewals, all of our scouts and all of our coaches and things like that. It seems as of right now that nobody has said no to a contract renewal as of yet. Okay, Kubalik wasn't too pleased. Okay, Pakarinen was also not pleased but accepted. The other guy was also not pleased but accepted. So everybody that we wanted to sign has currently accepted our offers. So, oh my God, there was more. Okay. Yeah, 50 contracts, blah, 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 blah. And here we are at free agency. So let's see here who our big free agent signing of this year could be. So we have about, what, 10 million in cap now, probably? 12 million in cap here. Oof. And let me just say that things are looking interesting. Kerfoot would be an interesting acquisition. I mean, so would Pasternak. We do have the cap to get Pasternak, but my guy wants 7 years at 12 million. I don't want to. I mean, Pasternak is an absolutely amazing player, and there's certainly no doubt about that. But the 12 million for 7 years, that's just not gonna fly with me, my guy. Why does Neil want such a big contract? Oh my God, that poor guy's sitting in free agency for the rest of his life. Honestly, none of these deals are that great. I mean, Horvat is honestly a stellar deal. An 87 for 7 million. I mean, at this point, people are asking almost 7. Gardner over here is asking for 7 million just as an 83, and Horvat only wants 4 years. Honestly, that is actually a decent signing, which is why there's so many teams interested in him. I'll do 7.25 for 4 years, and I'm hoping he takes that. I'm hoping that he comes and hangs out with us. Let's go down by potential here and see exactly what we're looking at. So there's only like 4 elite players, kind of still available, and none of them are really looking that interesting to me. So I guess we don't really care much, or we won't care much for potential. We're just kind of looking at, I guess, pure skill as of right now. I mean, I don't want to use up all of our cap this year. Obviously, let's sort by left wingers, because that is kind of who we were looking to get this year. I mean, Kovalchuk is still swinging, man. 40 years old and still an 84 overall. I mean, that guy is a trooper for sure. But I mean, he's not really what I'm looking for. And we're giving like 6 or 7 point something million to I can't even remember who we just tried to sign. Man, my brain is all over the place today. But Perlini's an interesting option. Yeah, I'm honestly might think about signing Perlini. DeBrusk as well. Why does DeBrusk want so little? I don't think he'd want to come back to us though after past seasons with him. But I mean, DeBrusk is an absolutely great price for someone of that kind of stature. I mean, if he wants to come back and play, I think we may have ruined DeBrusk's career, honestly, with the way we were throwing him around the lines and things like that. I mean, I feel like that's one of the best prices we've seen in a long time for someone of his caliber. Like, I mean, I say his caliber, but I mean an 82 overall left winger for less than 2 mil. I mean, we're paying a lot of money for some 80s and 82s, like more than that. So I think that if DeBrusk wants to come back, I'd love to have him back for even more than he would like. I'm trying to think, who else was I looking at that was a little bit of a lower? Nick Ritchie is an interesting one. But I mean, I'm just going to wait because people like Nick Ritchie aren't going to go in a couple days. I just want to make sure that we get a 3rd and a 4th in 2025. I don't want to get rid of 2024 draft picks, to be honest. So DeBrusk accepts. It's looking like Horvat did decide to go with Colorado, which kind of sucks, honestly. So Pasternak is slowly but surely wanting less money, which is I think is going to be good for us. I think Timo Maier is now maybe an interesting option. He wants $6 million for 3 years. I really don't want to go straight for Pasta. I mean, I think even other teams kind of know at this point that that's not really worth the price for a 27-year-old for 7 years. It's kind of a risky contract to be asking for, if I'm being completely honest. We've still got $11 million, and I think we really do need maybe another winger. So I think I'll be okay with signing Maie. Vancouver's interested. Let's do 6.25. It's much more than he wanted, and I'm hoping that because of that, he'll recognize our offer and go with us instead of going with, kind of somebody else. I definitely don't want to take Adam Henrique, no matter what his overall is. I don't want to pay $5 million in cap. And Timo actually goes with Vancouver here. We're not having any luck here. So Pasta actually does go. Ryan O'Reilly here. Who is our current first-line center? Is it Strome? Is it Strome? I don't actually know. It is Strome. Is he listed? Yeah, he's listed as a second-line centerman. And so is Kadri, which is I think why Kadri's been having some issues recently. I actually think that maybe let's look at if O'Reilly will accept a contract for maybe 2 years. He is getting up in age, so I don't want to give him much more, but what if I do 9.2 for 2 years and kind of see how that looks? I mean, he's an elite player. He's a guaranteed elite exact player. It does give up a lot of our cap to do this. But I mean, we got an interesting left winger already. Like, we have a decent left winger to add some more depth to our team, and now we could maybe do what we did with Bergeron last season, and maybe find our another star player to kind of help us through this season. So I'm actually really hoping that we get O'Reilly. I'm hoping he doesn't go with another team. Time is passing by very, very quickly, but he does actually come with us. I just saw it up top there. He does actually sign with us. So we now have Ryan O'Reilly on contract for 2 years. So I think that's very good. And now I want to do something interesting. I think that we're having a very large issue with Nazem Kadri. Now, I don't like to make changes this kind of crazy and sudden, but I think that we're going to have a lot of problems this season because Kadri and Strome are both going to be fighting for that kind of, second line center position. I think that it's becoming an issue where Kadri is always asking for more ice time, and I mean, we can't give him any more ice time. It's just not possible for us right now. Wow, these guys have some really, really good players. I mean, Buffalo's looking really, really hot there for sure. But you know what I mean? Like, getting someone like Sam Bennett, who actually got a really good amount of points last season, and he's a third line forward who we don't have to spend that much money on, although he is looking for a contract renewal. But someone like Bennett is something that I think we should be looking for. Sissons as well is a very good option, but again, only a year left. Probably 3 years left on Sissons' contract, actually. And do they have Suzuki as a third line as well? So somebody like one of these two who both have 3 years left. I'm thinking Suzuki. He's young. He can still improve. Will they take that 1-for-1? They won't. They won't take that 1-for-1. But we do we do have some unsigned prospects that I think that we can maybe package into a deal here. Now that this may seem like an absolutely awful idea because of the difference in overall for these two, but look at the cap we're saving. Now we know that we have to sign Holtz. I finally got his name right. We know that we have to sign Holtz. Kind of, next year. That's going to be a lot of cap that we're going to need to have to sign him, and I want to make sure we keep him for the majority of his career, if not all of it. So he's someone we're going to need to clear up a lot of cap for, and we're clearing up like $4 million in cap by making this deal. Wow, they really still don't want that. Let's see if there's any of our other kind of interesting unsigned prospects that we can kind of put forth here that maybe we'll sweeten the pot a little bit. So they are kind of we keep getting inching closer and closer to making a deal here for sure. Is that good enough? Wow, these guys are really just not gonna budge, I suppose. I guess. I mean, come on now. We have another unsigned prospect here in Canonica. They still won't take that. So we may actually have to give up someone that's actually on one of our lines, like someone like... let's give up Aston Reese here and see if they maybe will take that. So they still don't want that. I think it is also probably an issue with Kadri and his cap situation right now. I think that is going to be an issue for us here kind of in the future. Brad is actually playing in the minors right now, which is worrying to me, considering we just re-signed him for a year. Definitely going to want to keep an eye on that. I mean, I feel like they have to take that deal. Okay, so if we don't get Suzuki, what if we get Sissons here? I believe Sissons was the other player that we were definitely looking at getting here. His trade value is actually more. So it's looking like we're not going to be able to make a deal with Carolina. Let me just kind of back off here and kind of have a look and see what else we can find. Kirby... Pinelli is interesting. Like, it wouldn't be bad for us to invest in some younger talent that will maybe help us out in the future. Like, I mean, we could probably get Pinelli as a 1-for-1. Let's just see if we can, for some reason, save just for fun. Let's see if there's any way we can sweeten the pot a little bit here. Like, I'm thinking, I mean, we could actually try to get DeBrincat. I mean, we would have cap space to get DeBrincat. And if we just have him for a year, he'd just be kind of fodder for us. Ooh. Well, that minorly changes things. Do you think they would take that deal? And do we want to get rid of somebody like Gurianov? It's like 70 points in 82 games, or like 60 points in 82 games. But that would give us a stellar first line of Landeskog, O'Reilly, and DeBrincat. Like, that would be a pretty solid first line. And then after the year's over, we just say bye-bye to DeBrincat, and we don't re-sign him again if he doesn't perform. But to lose Gurianov is a little bit of a worry for me. And I just can't in good conscience. I mean, we have a pick in every round of the 2024 draft, and I would honestly like to keep it that way. And I mean, our picks for the 2029 draft have just popped up. So let's get rid of a 2029 second. See if they'll take this deal. So I don't even know if that's even close to being correct trade value. I'm hoping that it is. I'm hoping that we're at least kind of hitting the mark there, because if we make this deal go through, I honestly think it could be game changing for our year this year. Wow, we add an unsigned player, and we keep Gurianov in the run of it. So obviously I didn't want to do something like that because I was worried about our cap situation. But now our cap situation is absolutely no issue. So they want a second round in 2024 for an unsigned prospect for a third and a fourth in 2025. Honestly, I don't think our second round is going to be worth anything this year with the way we're building our team. And 2025, we already have a fourth and a fifth. That could give us two other fourths or third and fourths in 2025. Honestly, I bet that Montreal's third and fourth in 2025 is going to be worth much more than our second in 2024. I think we're making a decent cup run. I'm honestly going to take that. It doesn't hurt us to get rid of an unsigned prospect. Again, I don't see a downfall of this trade either because I don't think Montreal... Let me see what Montreal's team looks like before I go with this trade. Let me see what their team is looking like. Okay, so they have really good centers. They're actually looking to get rid of Danault, which is interesting. But, I mean, they have very good center depth. And then their whole team just falls off after that. Oh, my God, they have no right wingers. So they've got all centers and about nothing else. Their goalies are not bad. I mean, I don't think they're going to have a stellar year this year. They signed Bergeron, actually, which is interesting. I'm going to take this too. I'm okay with having their picks. I think their picks are going to be better than our picks. And I don't mind, again, getting rid of an unsigned prospect for that. Nemesnikov for a third and a fourth. So we have Montreal's fourth in 2025. Is Nemesnikov any good right now? 77. Nuh-uh. Ain't no way. I'd rather keep my picks. Ferland. No, I don't really want... I honestly don't want to trade players in a CPU trade. I'll trade picks, but I don't really want to trade players in a CPU trade like this, so we're just going to kind of let the season rock, let things happen. We're about 30 minutes into the video here, and we haven't gotten to the regular season yet, and I like to, no matter what's happening, kind of get through the whole regular season in an episode, so wow. Where is Landeskog is all the way down here for some absolutely unknown reason. Holtz is a second line forward, yeah, so I'm not just losing my mind. Holtz is a right winger, so he would fit better here. This Heinen and Guryanov line is facing some massive issues. DeBrusk is just... He's just god-awful. Could we, in good conscience... We can, in good conscience, put him there. Well, now we're facing an issue. I can't put Holtz down any less than where he is. Like, DeBrusk just ruins every line that he's ever on. Okay, so Pinelli is a third line forward. So why don't we put Strome there? So make that line like that. So we have all second line forwards there, all first line forwards here. Then we have a third line forward there, a third line forward there, and a third line forward there. Arvidsson is still based as a second line player. Oh man, this is becoming difficult. If we put DeBrusk down, so at least in this sense, Fisher and Arvidsson are playing at least kind of close. I think we have to get rid of DeBrusk. My boy DeBrusque seems to be a problem. Like a heavy problem. No matter where ever since we've had him, he has been a problem. And I should have maybe known that going into this year that my guy DeBrusque was going to be an issue. I don't even know where Pinelli came from. Like, I don't know where my guy Pinelli came from, but I'm glad we got him. Was he one of our free agent signings? I can't even remember. But where is DeBrusque? DeBrusque has quite literally -7 trade value. So unfortunately for us, we're just going to have to keep him, even though he seems to just be a problem no matter where he sits. He just seems to be a problem player for us every single time we've had him. I honestly regret signing him at this point. We were lucky enough that we've been able to give him a +1 overall here. But to put Arvidsson down would cause issues. To put Heinen down would cause issues. To put Fischer down would cause an issue. So this poor line here of Fischer, Heinen, and Arvidsson just isn't going to have any chemistry going for them. And same with, unfortunately, these higher lines are also going to have very little chemistry. But in terms of chemistry, I want to look at our power play. We haven't looked at any of our special teams in a while, and they're definitely causing us some issues here. Like, what if I put... So, like, that's not going to change anything. That won't change anything. That's not going to change anything. I don't know, man. Okay, I mean, this doesn't look like a bad power play setup. We'll try it for a little bit, and again, if we notice something is going wrong or something seems off, then we'll have to peek at that. So I think that I'm gonna go to this 1st of December here, just kind of see how things go. So let's see how we do in the preseason here, at least. 3-1-0 in the preseason, 3-2-0 in the 3-3-0 in the preseason, and then we end up 4-3-0 in the preseason. So if that's any sign of how our I don't even care about SCOUT assignments, because until I figure out how they actually are going to help me, I just can't be friggin' bothered. Okay, so we start off the season pretty poorly. But again, that doesn't mean to me that we won't turn it around. I mean, we had an absolutely amazing season the season before this one. And you just got to see we get to see the what happened there in our last or in this actual video. You got to see how that playoff series turned out. So it didn't turn out great. We got absolutely hammered in the first round, as you guys saw earlier in this episode. So Holtz here doesn't feel like he's getting enough playing time. I don't know how he's doing. How am I supposed to know? Okay, so he wants more minutes tonight, at least for the next few games. We'll see if we can fit him in somewhere. He is our young buck, and I do feel like he should have some more playing time. I'm worried about it just because we're kind of already on a decent roll right now. DeBrincat with 6 points in 7 games. So we know who we're not putting down. Holtz is down here just chilling. And to move him up, I feel Perron isn't playing. Why is Perron not playing? I would honestly much rather play Perron over friggin' DeBrusque, but that's just me. So DeBrincat has some decent points looking for him here. How many points does Holtz have? 4 points? Ooh. Although, that would be a fun-looking line. Okay, we'll do that, I suppose. We'll give Holtz a couple games up there until we can fulfill our promise, and we'll see how he's doing. Let's say at the start of November, maybe we'll see how he's doing. Holtz is happy that I kept my promise. didn't really even get a morale change from that, which makes me kind of upset. And if we start to lose a lot, I'm going to be putting Holtz back down, like almost immediately. Although there's really not much of a way to tell whether Canadians fire their head coach. Markstrom is upset apparently over some performance issues. It will soon be time for us to say goodbye to Markstrom as a goalie, I think, decently soon. And now Strome is having some ice time concerns. I don't feel like you are, to be honest. Okay, so his morale actually does go up over that, which is good. He's really not in a position to be asking for much more ice time, as he hasn't really proved himself that much lately. So we are on a bit of a losing spree here, which, okay, whoa. I'm a little bit nervous about that. Strome is actually earning that time. I take it all back. Okay. This may be a heated debate, but I'm switching things back to the way they were. I think that, that line's going to be nasty now. Strome is clearly deserving of more ice time. He's getting a good amount of points for us. Again, we're just kind of trying out some new lines. We'll give them about a week or so to kind of test that out, give them a few games to kind of see how things go. We're still on a very, very hefty losing streak right now, which is an issue. DeBrincat is having some performance issues, not playing to the best of my abilities. I definitely agree. I can't give him. Isn't he playing top line with 3 chemistry? Like, I'm sorry, I literally can't give him any better than that. I don't think he can get more than a 3 in chemistry. It's unfortunate to say, but that's how it is. Holtz is sorry for how he's playing out there. I can't really change much for him. It is unfortunate to see kind of our star guy feeling that way. Everybody is having performance issues. Okay, let's persuade him and stop this quickly. I'm going to set it back to best lines. Ooh, that's going to hurt the morale. Oof, yeah, back it up. Stop. We are on a losing streak. We are on an awful tear of mass destruction right now. Stop this, please. Like, it seems like we're getting a decent amount of points, as players, but let me just best lines this thing. While changing those lines just so we don't have a negative, chemistry, and we're going to let these lines rock. These are the lines that our assistant coach thinks are the best. We're going to move on to, I believe that may have been either December or January 1st. Perron actually gets dressed, and we win our next 3. So this is definitely maybe the team composition that we should have been starting with since the beginning. We're now on a 4-win streak, make it 5 now. We beat Detroit, who have been a powerhouse recently, in my opinion. Shootout loss, but at least, we're getting points still. So an interesting turnaround to the season. We lose to Vegas, which is kind of a heartbreaker, but we're now fighting our way back in it here. We have a very, very competitive division. For some ridiculous reason, our division it seems to always be quite competitive. I guess that's just a thing for the Central. And where are we sitting here? So about 5th place in our division. Not having a great look to this season thus far. But again, we're just going to keep on powering through and kind of see. At this point, we're just going to take where we end up at this point. Wherever we end up, that's where we're going to end up. The Canadians are actually last in their division with 17 points. Yeah. I'd like to have that Canadians first round pick, please. Actually, stop the presses. Can we get the Canadians first round pick, please? Because there is no way there's anybody in the league playing that bad. There's no way there's another team that's that bad. We are having an awful run of it. We're not even cracking playoff clinching at this point. Let's go all the way down here to the bottom of the league. There's no way. 20 points, and the next closest is 35. I mean, they're bound to be at least top 3, right? Like, there's no way they screw up the lottery that bad. Where is my boy Montreal? Right here. How? I bet their first round pick is like through the roof. Yeah. Their second round pick is going to be a good one as well. I kind of want to keep an eye on that, to be honest. I really do. I think that we may be in a bad situation here. I thought we made such a good team. It looked like we were kind of, on the mend there for a minute, and then we've just kind of we've been kind of back and forth. But in our division, we cannot afford to be back and forth if we want to make the playoffs. We have to be winning games, and we're honestly just barely doing that. We are gaining some ground here in our division. We have now made sure that we're in a playoff spot. We just cannot choke this. It's looking like I'm going to have quite a few interesting decisions to make. Kind of close to trade deadline time. Because we are very close to not being in contention for a spot here in the playoffs, and we keep losing games that we just cannot be losing. At this point, Montreal seems like the easiest team to beat. I'm definitely nervous. We go on a little win streak there right at the end of the deadline, which is telling me that our team has heard me. They don't want put myself as a buyer here for the start of the trade deadline and see. So let's see who's available here. So we got Torrey Krug, who's available with quite a high. Torrey Krug, Ryan Ellis, Lehner is an interesting one. Andreas Janssen is an interesting one. Anthony Mantha is also interesting, but I'm not seeing much that I'm interested in here. I find the trade deadline isn't super great. Like, we haven't really found somebody in the trade deadline that we're like, ooh, yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy that we want. So we're just going to skip past the trade deadline and just sim to the rest of the season. I'm praying that we can fight for a playoff spot. We've never missed the playoffs yet this series. Ryan Ellis goes to Philadelphia. Interesting. And Torrey Krug goes to Carolina. It's a pretty crazy play there. And at this point, we're just going to sim to the rest of the season. I'm just going to have to close my eyes and pray at this point. It seems like our team is kind of on the mend after a rough kind of beginning of the season to middle portion of the season. It's been rough. We've gained a lot of ground on the Blues, and it looks like that ground is just going to keep rising. We're actually gaining ground on the third place team in the Predators there. Markstrom is having a lot of issues with his performance, which is making me think we're going to be shopping for a new goalie next year. Every time I look up, it seems like I'm seeing Markstrom having an issue with performance. Obviously, it's too late to trade him away now. Maybe that's something we should have looked into. But honestly, we are ending off the season pretty well. I will admit we're at 97 points here, very close to the Jets. I believe we may have already clinched a spot in the playoffs. I do believe that is a fact. And we may actually break 100 points. We do break 100 points, 101 points. 48, 29, and 5, if I'm being honest. That's pretty good. And we start off playing the people that may be our playoff rivals here in Winnipeg. What a sad way for us to start the playoffs, man. Facing somebody like Winnipeg to begin our playoffs, it's going to be killer, man. Winnipeg has, for some reason, just been a thorn in our side here just since the beginning. It's been rough. we always go to late game playoff series against them, and they're always deadly close. It's looking like this year we're just not even going to stand a modicum of a chance. Markstrom is not playing to the best of his ability, and Winnipeg is definitely capitalizing on that. We have nobody scoring. We have 1 goal on the board in 2 games of the playoffs. Oh, man. Okay, Stroman to Brinkat do get something going here for us at least. We'll slow sim this period. DeBrincat actually gets another one. So DeBrincat is maybe heating up this for the playoffs here. Wow. And DeBrusque gets one. And that is the end of, I believe, what is game 3. So we kind of make up some ground there. We have a decent game there against Winnipeg, at least show some sign of life. Now we are back at home here again, and I'm hoping that we will have a good game here. 2-1. Pinelli actually gets 2 in the first period, and Winnipeg goes on to tie it up. Power play here again. A long one, and nothing comes of it, unfortunately. We have so many more shots than them, and we were just not capitalizing on any of our shots. Man. And Greer gets one. That's going to be it, isn't it? 36 shots, and we can't get more than 2 goals. That's bad. That is rough. And it looks like we may be ending our playoff season, or off season kind of time yet again here. Ooh, okay, we find some sign of life there, making it 5-1, but again, do we come back from this? Can we come back from this? We were in a situation of having to win 3 games straight, which we have been in that situation, I believe, against Winnipeg before, and we have done it. It's just, can we manage to do it again? I'm just simming. It's 2-2. We're going to overtime. Backs are against the wall, and Ryan O'Reilly, the veteran on the ice, gets one. And I mean, I thought it was over for us, but now here we are heading into Game 7 against Winnipeg. Do they end our playoff hopes here? I'm just simming it. I'm quick simming it, and they do. In Game 7, a heartbreaking loss against Winnipeg there. And guys, that is the end of yet another tumultuous and interesting season. That's crazy, man. I really don't know what to expect from the entry draft with Montreal's interesting picks, considering Montreal placed at a garbage standing. I don't know what to expect. I'm excited. We finally have a draft where we have a lot of picks, which means maybe some good players coming into the team, but more importantly, trade fodder. A lot of it. We have multiple picks in some rounds, I believe, still. The 2024 draft is going to be looking interesting for us. So as always, guys, I do hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's another long one. Our franchises always seem to be long just because me being me likes to go through a whole friggin' season. We literally went through a whole year worth of time in this one episode. I do apologize for that, but I think it's more fun that way. I like to get a regular season done in every episode. I mean, as always, though, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Another fun one, another crazy one. And as always, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.